Okay, so we are up to season 5. Glenn's death, here we come! I truly am dreading that, because, oh man. I'm still recovering from said death. Glenn's death. Anyway, let's get into season 5. I actually have a lot of thoughts written down for this review. Yeah. Story is really complicated this season. There's a lot going on. It's a bit all over the place this season because we start in season 5. We start where season 4 ended with the with Terminus, and then we go from that to them on the road. Then we find them at a church, at Father Gabriel's church. And then we're back in Atlanta for a little bit, and then we are back on the road again, and then we end up at Alexandria. So this season, I really don't have a good synopsis for you because it is all over the place, as I just stated, and wow, I not to say it's bad, it's a bit all over the place this season. Anyway, let's just get straight into my thoughts for season 5. Okay, so the first problem that I encountered with season 5 is that now I don't want to start off with problems. It's just how it happened as I was watching it. It's just this problem. Like, I realized that this is a problem. Okay, so and it's the first thought that came to my head as I was watching season 5. Anyway, I'm just trying my best to defend the show because it is a good show. Anyway, the first problem that I encountered are the villains, okay? Okay, so excluding the governor and Negan, there are smaller villains that could have been used for a full season, right? Probably to make it better. The cannibals from Terminus is one of those villains, okay? It only takes a couple of episodes for these villains. They are villains, okay, because they're a force that is getting in the way of our group, the survivors, okay? So they're villains, right? They're the bad guys. They're doing bad shit. Henceforth, villains. So, why not make them last a little longer? They don't. The writers don't. I feel like, I guess it's a missed opportunity that they didn't use the cannibals from Terminus. I don't know if that's their real name, but that's the name I gave them. Anyway, I feel like it's a missed opportunity that the cannibals from Terminus aren't used to their full potential. Like there was probably a lot more that they could have done with the cannibals from Terminus. They could have made them a force to be reckoned with, but they didn't. Unfortunately, this continues on with the wolves, but that's next season. We get to see a little bit of the wolves by the end of this season. So it's not that I don't want to spoil it because we've all seen it so far. We've all seen it all. Okay, so it's not. I don't want to talk about the wolves just yet, not because of spoilers, but because I want to keep it for my season 6 review. But it kind of continues on with the wolves. The fact that villains aren't used that much, right? They don't last that long. So you guys remember when I said that Daryl and Carol could have been a potential couple? I mentioned this in my season 3 review. I said that scene on the bus, right? We didn't see much of it. We didn't see any of it. In my season 3 review, I said that we didn't see any of that, see any of their potential romanticness anywhere else in the other seasons. Well, we do, so I was kind of wrong on that, okay? Second time watching it, you tend to forget things after watching it the first time, right? Anyway, look. Turns out they were just mucking around. They were just fooling around. They weren't actually being romantic. They weren't romantically involved in any way. They were just really close friends. Close enough to muck around about being romantic and stuff. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. because it's on my list of thoughts, and I thought I'd have to mention it because I was wrong. Anyway, I feel... Oh. Yeah, also, I want to... that seems a bit out of order. Anyway, look, I feel... So, there's this thing, right? Abraham wants to go to Washington, right? Because that's their best chance of survival and also getting rid of all the walkers that exist in the world, right? So Abraham wants to do that. Rick doesn't. What Rick wants to do is probably going to lower their chance of survival, right? I feel like it's a bit selfish of Rick to do that, even though in the end he does kind of think about it, but doesn't really go ahead with it. But it's from here onwards that I really question Rick's judgment. Like I said, with the first thought that I mentioned about him killing off essentially slaughtering the cannibals from Terminus, him and the others, I really question their judgment. This is where I really start to see Rick, like, on the edge. It's like, there are times where he's a badass, where you say, I'm gonna kill you. But there are other times where you just... everything is put into question. And I think it's interesting for sure, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I honestly don't know what to think. Because it's a very grey area. It does make the story interesting, but it kind of makes me lose a little bit of that me wanting to root for them. Because now, occasionally, when they make poor decisions like slaughtering people, I kind of don't want to root for them anymore. Think of that what you will, okay? But I'm just really confused on that whole thing. Also, speaking of Abraham, I forgot that this isn't anything big, but I forgot that Glenn and Abraham were like really good friends when they first got to know each other. Interesting, seeing as they essentially die together in the premiere of season 7. Just thought I'd mention that because ironic? I don't know. Is that irony? I don't know. Anyway, another interesting thing is, so we all know how much of a badass both Daryl and Carol are, right? And this is actually one of my favorite moments. One of my favorite moments. I'm not gonna mention them just yet, but one of my favorite moments is Daryl and Carol back in Atlanta. That's one of my favorite moments, and I've written down that in my favorite moments, but also on my thoughts because there's a lot to talk about with it. Like they're both badasses in their own way, right? Sometimes one can be more harsh. Sometimes the other can be more harsh. Sometimes one can be more sympathetic. Sometimes the other can be more sympathetic. And we really get to see that in the episode where they explore Atlanta trying to find Beth. And I like it because there are times where even Daryl has to hold Carol back, which is completely fucking, like, wow. Because we know who Carol used to be. She essentially used to be a nobody. Like when I first watched season 1, I honestly didn't expect Carol to last as long as she does. I thought she was just gonna die with a bunch of the other wimps, I guess. But she has not, and she's gotten to the point now where she can be really harsh. I mean, she essentially threatens this little kid that if he essentially, dobs on her and tells his parents that, Carol's been stealing guns from the armory, she's going to take him out to the forest, tie him to a tree, and let walkers get to him. Wow. She used to have a daughter, and she's saying that to someone else's son. They really have been out there too long. But I like seeing Daryl. I I like the badass Daryl, but occasionally, like me and everyone else, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, but don't we like seeing the sympathetic Daryl? I know I do. And then, but there's another bit where Daryl wants to leave Noah. Okay, this is when they were just meeting him, right? And they didn't know, like, he had stolen their stuff, so of course Daryl would want to leave him there. But Carol takes on board what Daryl was saying before. And she is bringing Daryl back to save this kid's life. And then, well, we all know, you guys all know how it turned out. But I just like seeing, I like that whole episode because it's interesting to see that it's fun, okay? It's fun to see them as badasses, but it's also interesting. The other side of it is it's interesting to see that they still have a little bit of humanity left in them. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Gabriel for my next thought that I wrote down. He was a fucking jerk to start off with. Like, this season, okay, in future seasons I kind of like him, just a tad, just a little bit. But, honestly, he was one of my most hated characters in season 5 because, one, he puts the lives of Judith and Carl and Michonne in jeopardy, okay, by essentially, you know, kind of letting a whole herd of walkers into the... What the fuck? What was I saying? Gabriel was essentially... He put the lives of Judith, fucking Carl, Michonne, all in jeopardy by letting these whole herd of walkers into the church, right? That church was meant to keep them safe. And he compromised the whole deal. Also, he lied to... I forgot the woman's name, but he lied to the woman in charge of Alexandria about the group being dangerous and stuff. Well, they'd have to be to survive outside of those walls. Yeah! I mean, he lied to her about that. Well, it's not really a lie, but he's... It feels like he's purposely trying to get them kicked out. Which really pisses me off because they helped him survive. He's there, alive, because of them. And then he's going around saying that shit. And also, he's the one who let the walkers into Alexandria. He let like 3 or 4 of them into Alexandria. Dude, Spencer asks him to close the door. Nah, doesn't care, just walks off like a jerk. I didn't like how the writers killed off Tyrese. One episode, the episode directly after Beth's death. Okay, now, in defense of what I just said, it's not because I didn't like Tyrese. I liked Tyrese. It's not because I preferred Beth over Tyrese. I liked them just as much, okay, as side characters. They were damn good side characters, and I loved them. Sad to see them go. But there's a problem when it comes to killing off one character after experiencing another character's death just one episode before. You kind of lose all emotion at that point. It just feels like his death was not called for, especially after Beth's death. Anyway, okay, I have questions, as with every season. Why does the letter A keep popping up in season 5? We first see it at Terminus, then we see it at the church, Gabriel's church, and then we see it on Rick's hand. Why does the A keep popping up? Is this some sort of inside joke that the creators of the show had, or is it hinting at something? I don't know. I still don't know, and I'm up to season... I've seen all the seasons, and I still don't know what the A means. Anyway, just a question. Okay, favorite moments. The one-woman army / everyone reunited. Because it's all like one scene, but it's 2 separate things. Anyway, so the one-woman army, Carol fucking destroying Terminus all on her fucking own. Carol saves the day. I know everyone said it, but Carol really did save the day. She's like... They need to cast her as one of the next Terminators, I kid you not. And everyone reunited. I like the bit where Daryl sees Daryl sees Carol coming through the woods, and he runs to her. And it's not because, as I said, it's not because he's romantically tied to her. I think it's because I don't know the real reason behind it, but I think it's just because he sees her as a motherly figure, and she sees him as a son figure. Next favorite moment is fire truck ambush / Eugene's reveal. The fire truck ambush was fun because no real reason. It was just fun. Also, Eugene's reveal, also entertaining to watch, but I liked it even more because we're getting to know Abraham. We're getting to know Abraham. I said that one. Favorite moment, of course, Beth's death. Beth's death. Of course, that would be my favorite moments because it still. I watched it for the second time. Right. I every time I do one of these Walking Dead reviews, I watch the season before doing the review so that I refresh my memory. I watched it the second time, still cried. Barn in the storm. Storm barn. Barn in the storm. Anyway, another favorite moment. Barn in the storm. I like it because it's fun. No, I don't really need a good, deep, personal reason. I just like it because it's fun. But there's a deep reason, because later on in this, so as the scene progresses, we see them holding the door up against this giant herd of walkers, with a storm added to the weight of those walkers. I like it because it's almost like a visual metaphor for them fighting back against this ugly world. That's another reason why I like it. Favorite characters. Really quickly, Carol, Rick and Carl, Abraham, Beth, R.I.P. Death, fuck, R.I.P. Beth, what the fuck, Daryl, Glenn, and Morgan, because Morgan comes back in this season, and holy shit, he's awesome. He's like the Batman of The Walking Dead. He's like the Batman of The Walking Dead. No killing, knocks him out, all that stuff. He's awesome. Anyway, also I just want to explain why this season I put Rick and Carl, because I didn't mention it in my season 4 review, but season 4 onwards, I really like the dynamic, the Rick and Carl dynamic, because it's really, I don't know, it just feels good to see a father and son work together so efficiently like they do. It just makes me feel like you kill those zombies. Yeah! Anyway, character arcs. The only one that I noticed of the character arcs is Beth's arc from trying to actually doing. Okay? This... I fucking love her. I wish she lasted longer, but she's dead! Anyway, oh man, she in season 2, she started off as a nobody, kind of like Carol, only though she wasn't getting abused. But she started off like not being able to even kill a walker. She went from that to almost killing a doctor, like a living person. Fucking amazing! I just love character arcs like this. Oh man. Anyway, that's all my thoughts for season 5. Please do go down, like and comment on this video, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in my review for season 6. Goodbye.